Hey, what's going on, guys? TayJay Productions here, and today I'm in Fortville, Indiana at a place called the Retro Sync, which is an independent video game store here. Got a lot of cool retro video game stuff in there, a lot of cool things, and you and me are gonna check them out together. Let's go. So guys, I am here at the Retro Sync and I'm really excited to come in here and take a look at everything. Just when I walk in, I notice this little area right here. Does this not give you those retro vibes of sitting in front of the CRT TV? Even the couch here, I swear, when I moved out and had my first apartment, I had a couch just like this that my grandma gave me. Went to Goodwill, but the memories, oh my God. So I just got to show real quick this little section they have here. It really feels like a living room, complete with the luminescent phone. Look at that. That is amazing. Well, I think this is a pretty cool place in itself, but no better person to talk to than the owner himself, so let's go find him. Well, hello, this is Jason, the owner of the Retro Sync. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Thanks for inviting me in here. I'm excited to check out your store, but like I said, there is no better way to view the store than have the owner show me themselves. So would you like to show me some of your favorite things about this store?
Absolutely, let's do it. So I started this business because I really like collecting and digging and going to flea markets and all of that fun stuff. Was also laid off from my job in 2022. And so I went from collecting to, I started to go and buy stuff to flip on eBay. I also started repairing consoles to make some extra money and to also help fund some of my collecting too. And that grew pretty quickly. I also started buying storage units and doing storage auctions. It was kind of all over the place. Just was a reseller in general. But really, this is my passion. I love toys and collectibles and things from my childhood. I was born in '81, and so I grew up in that era of, I think, some of the greatest toys and electronics and stuff of our generation. And so I wanted to bring that to both people that grew up in the same time, and also I wanted to give the opportunity for a new generation to experience it as well. So we did the online thing for a couple of years, and then started thinking, well, maybe we should do a brick and mortar, which was terrifying because I've never owned a business before like this. So we just started, we being me and my wife, we're partners in this. Started looking around at spaces, and we really love this town of Fortville. It was about 10 minutes from where we used to live, and actually we're just walking down the street. One of the other business owners across the street came out because he saw us looking in the window and was very excited to see that somebody was interested in the space, and immediately introduced us to the owner of the building. And within 2 weeks, by the way, we were not ready to actually pull the trigger on starting a business or a brick and mortar business, but within 2 weeks we had a lease and
there you go.
We were all in, and 4 months later we had our grand opening. So that was 2 years ago. Actually, it will be 2 years ago next month. Our grand opening was April 21st. So
congratulations.
It's been a crazy ride ever since, and we are excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I bet. I love seeing that you have a brick and mortar store. I mean, there's a lot of business owners nowadays that never get to that brick and mortar store point. You know, a lot of them just do stuff online. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of determination to make a brick and mortar store, and they're more fun. I mean, you could just come in here and feel the vibes, and you can definitely feel the vibes here, and that's what we're gonna look at today. I gotta ask you a specific question. Before you were a business owner, you were a collector, and I gotta wonder how much of your collection is sitting around this store?
That is a great question. So the store itself was started with about 50% of my collection. When I said I was all in, I went all in. So I took a hard look at, I had amassed a huge amount of stuff. I had over 10,000 games. I had every console you could ever imagine, every variation, some in the box, some not in the box, and a lot of it I just didn't have a connection with. It wasn't something I had when I was a kid. It wasn't something I was ever going to play. It was just stuff cool to have because I didn't have it when I was a kid, and now I had adult money and I could actually afford it. And so it was more important for me to make sure that we had some of the best stuff come opening day. So I went through my entire collection and had a come to Jesus myself that I needed to shrink everything down and really keep the stuff that mattered to me. And so we had quite a bit from that. And then we actually also found another game store that was moving in another direction up in Detroit, Michigan. And they posted on Facebook, come buy our entire inventory. And I reached out to them, and about a week later we were in a U-Haul headed up to Detroit, and between that and my collection, that's how we opened the store. And
awesome.
It definitely was very different from what you see today, or what you'll see in the video. We've changed dramatically since we opened the door, but that definitely got us a good reputation right off the bat, that we had quality inventory, that we had good stuff. It wasn't just a bunch of, vaporware and sports games and things like that. And then from there, we had to build a trust with our customers that they could bring stuff to us, and we would pay them fairly, and to help continuing that cycle of inventory coming in to make sure that people have a new experience whenever they come.
Well, without further ado, you want to walk us around and show us some of your favorite things?
Absolutely. We can start in the front. So the front part of the store here is mostly unchanged from when we first opened. One of the things that I really wanted to highlight when we first decided to do the store was I love vintage toys. However, as you'll see, we definitely are very geared towards video games, but I do still want to celebrate the vintage toys as much as I can. So like up here we have a 1980s Tiger Shark from G.I. Joe that's actually been here since the store opened. If it never sells, I really don't care because I think it's really cool. This is one of my museum shelves that I wanted to make sure we had in the store to not only just be a retail store, but also be an experience, be a destination for people to come and see stuff that maybe they've never seen before, or that they're like, oh man, I remember that from my childhood. So a couple things I wanted to highlight up here. First one is we have a hat that I own now that used to belong to Pat Morita, who was Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid. One of my favorite movie franchises of all time. So what makes it so special is this was actually purchased through a auction that his wife did when he passed away to raise money for charity. And there's actually a letter in there written by his wife that talks about that this actually belonged to him, etc. So something I will never sell.
It's got to be like one of your holy grails.
Absolutely. I think it's priceless, for sure. There's a couple other pieces up here. There's a DeLorean that is also pretty cool. That one actually got out of storage unit, but it is signed by Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Lena Dunham. Again, something that I don't think that I would ever sell, just because I love Back to the Future and I love Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox as actors. And then just in general, I wanted to highlight some of the 80s and 90s culture and time period. So as I mentioned, we definitely have a large collection of video games spanning all eras, all the way from Xbox One, PS5, all the way down to NES, Super Nintendo. We even have Sega CD, original PlayStation. So we like to definitely, we're more specific to the retro stuff because that's what we love. But we want to make sure and offer everybody that comes in here that's looking for video games, a little bit of everything. The other thing that is a little bit new for us, but is VHS is making a comeback.
I love VHSs. You can't go wrong with those.
We definitely are not a video store by any means, but anytime interesting VHS comes into the store, or I find it at Goodwills or at flea markets, I definitely like to pick it up because I just think that the artwork on the boxes, just everything about a VHS tape screams 80s, and just so many good memories of different movies that I watched as a kid. And is definitely a big hit with people that come in and they're, not necessarily, I don't even think most people even watch the VHS movies, to be honest. I think they're just buying them to put it on the shelf because it's a piece that reminds them of when they were kids too.
Well, you know what I think it is? These are not like nowadays where, everything's on streaming. You don't get to feel anything. Yep. Nothing's tangible. VHSs are fun because they're tangible. They have artwork on them, and it's just something to interact with. And I don't know. I feel like nowadays it's kind of becoming rare to have like things to interact with. Everything's just on a screen now. So I think that's some of the appeal to VHSs, and they're just fun to look at. Just like anything else, people collect vinyls, never listen to those. So I think it's just, it's just in that same context.
Again, I would say definitely the business started more heavily on consoles than anything else. So that is a passion for me, both as an engineer and a repair person. And then I just love the old consoles. I love the design and the look of them. So we like to highlight our consoles as much as possible. Everything that comes into our store, we open up, we clean, we work on. We make sure it is as good as possible so that when it leaves here, it is going to be something that other people can enjoy and experience for years to come. However, this stuff is really old and it is prone to breaking, so we offer warranties, and we make sure to take care of any problems that our customers have with their consoles, whether it's replacing them or repairing them for them. But always want to have all of the different consoles available for people to pick up or just to look at and really, again, have that experience and that feeling of nostalgia when they come in here and remember that Nintendo or that ColecoVision or Intellivision or Atari or Dreamcast that they had when they were a kid. Something I did want to highlight, I'm a huge 1989 Batman fan, so I did bring in some of my collection into the store. Again, wanted to have some more stuff for people to just be able to see and it be a destination for them to come hang out and experience things that they remember. So a couple pieces up there that I am really proud of. One of them is I have a signed photo up there. It is not the 1989 Batman, but just Batman in general I really like. But I loved the Dark Knight, and that is signed by Heath Ledger, who is no longer with us, as well as who played Batman? Christian Bale. Yep.
I'm like Christopher Nolan. Wait a minute, that's the director.
So it's signed by both of them, and so that's a really special piece to me as well, just because he was an amazing Joker in that movie. And then I love the original Batmobile. If I could own a full-size one, I would. So I have quite the collection of Batmobiles, both here and at home. But that Lego Batmobile, I think, is a phenomenal set, and it just is so cool to look at. And then there's one more piece I wanted to highlight, which is we have a signed Mike Tyson's Punch Out photo here. Ooh. That is not a one of one. They do have, I think there's maybe like 1,000 that were made. But huge fan of the Mike Tyson Punch Out, and I just think it's cool to have that, because not necessarily the biggest Mike Tyson fan, but that game is so nostalgic for people that when they see that, plus that he actually signed it, it is a big hit with people that come into the store.
Well, isn't he the one that said one of my favorite sayings? Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So you just plopped this down on here like it was just a base. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You got the Dark Knight script right here is what I'm trying to say. You just plopped this down here like it was nothing. Like, oh yeah, I also got this. That's crazy. Do you know like how many copies of this they make?
I do not. I'm sure there's quite a few, because you have all kinds of, you know, cast members and engineers, and you know, so I'm sure there's probably hundreds at least.
That's just crazy that you, okay, so how did you come to get this?
This actually came into the store as a trade.
Somebody traded this to you?
Yes.
What?
Well, to be fair, this one in particular, they already knew that I was a fan of Batman, and so they specifically brought it in to see my reaction for one, and also to see if I wanted to own it. So
I totally get it. If somebody were to hand me the script to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, that's my Batman.
All
you know,
right. Yeah.
As you're into Batman, I'm into Spider-Man. I have a huge collection of that stuff as well. So yeah, if somebody brought me a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie script, yeah, I'm taking it and I'm never getting rid of it.
I do want to highlight this chalkboard right here. This was done by a local artist that is also working in one of the restaurants here in town in Fortville. I reached out to her through a recommendation, and they came and we talked about some ideas on what we could potentially put up here, and she just did her thing, and that's been up here for the 2 years that we've been open. Actually planning on reaching out to her again and redoing it and coming up with a new design, but it's all chalk, which is crazy.
That is absolutely insane. Look at the Mario on there. The detail is insane, guys. The shadowing, I could never. This is why I do videos, because I could never do stuff like this. That's really cool.
Yeah, she doesn't really do it as a business. It's just a hobby.
Yeah.
That she does on the side for fun.
Those are the best, when they have the passion in what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
It shows in their work.
Yep. However, do want to take you back in the back. We don't have a ton of like holy grails or anything. I know there's definitely game stores out there that have all kinds of crazy stuff that's in the back. I would say most of our crazy stuff is actually in the front, but we are definitely more dedicated to having this as our repair shop. We do have some overstock and things like that we keep back here, but it is mostly just for our repair business, which is a huge part of what sets us apart from some of the other places around here. Again, I started off doing repair on my own, and I have a degree in electronic engineering, and I took those two passions together and figured out how to work on all this old stuff and even the new stuff too. So we have all of our equipment over here that we use to work on customer repairs, and also for doing our own repairs on stuff that we pick up that needs to be fixed or refurbished or worked on. There are a lot of different systems that we work on. For example, here is an Xbox Series X, so we even work on modern stuff. This one had a pretty gnarly HDMI replacement that we had to do on it, so we're finishing up on that. We also, one of the biggest repairs that we have to do is on controllers, because stick drift is real. Mm-hmm. And so we get in probably 5 to 10 controllers a week where people have stick drift issues and we need to replace the analog sticks in them. We only do Hall effect now because they are less prone to failure. So we get a little bit of everything when it comes to repair. And not only that, but we are also starting to now offer repair classes because we want to share this passion and also give other people the opportunity to learn how to maintain and work on their own stuff, or even if they want to turn that into a career and leave here and have a little bit of knowledge and take it to wherever they want to go. So we have an 8-week course that teaches them a little bit about everything. So they learn how to solder, they learn about how to repair controllers, cartridge-based systems, disk drives, controllers, handhelds. And so when they leave here after 8 weeks, I feel like it's a good overview of everything that they may run into day one, but have had a lot of good success with that. And I would say definitely have some people that I would like to reach out to in the future to hire as future techs because they're that good. So it's also a good opportunity for us to, as we grow on the repair side, to have a good network of people that we can reach out to if they want to turn that into a career.
Is that an all ages course?
It is 14 and up.
14 and up, okay.
Yep, just because they want to make sure that they're, I'd say, mature enough to be able to handle, especially like soldering irons and some of the more dangerous tools. Mm-hmm. And then also have enough interest and be able to stay interested in those things. So 14 seems to be about that age when you start to be able to have a longer attention span and really want to dig in and understand how things work. And but we've had all the way from 14 all the way to 50. So it's not just a kids thing, it's not just an adults thing.
How about 30? You can never learn enough about this stuff. There's a lot of learning to do, and all kind of ends up going hand in hand. So it's important. I know you guys are into this stuff. That's really cool.
So just like any other game store, we also like to offer some of the higher end stuff too, for the collectors or just people who want some of those really nostalgic games that are hard to find. So we have all of our cases set up to showcase all of those more expensive games. So everything is done from cartridge base. We have our Xbox, and then down there our PlayStation. We've had a run on GameCube and N64 lately, so definitely need to restock on that. But we like to definitely keep a good variety of things coming in the door as much as possible.
So I guess GameCube is getting popular again, is what I'm hearing?
GameCube is definitely popular. I'd say N64 is probably for us one of the #1 sellers.
That's probably always been like a huge thing, hasn't it?
So it goes in waves. Mm-hmm. So now the N64, the GameCube kids are now to the point where they are adults with adult money, mm-hmm. and they can afford the N64s and the GameCubes and all the games that they couldn't get when they were younger. I think that's probably going to phase into, I think PlayStation 2 is also another example of that. We cannot keep PlayStation 2s in stock for more than an hour sometimes because
wow, that's crazy.
Because they are so popular right now. But I think that's going to, just continue phasing into the next generation. It will be PS3 mm-hmm. and the Xbox 360. But I think once we get into PS4 and PS5, it doesn't really matter anymore. Mm-hmm. But right now, when it comes to retro video game collecting, N64, GameCube, and PlayStation 2, at least for us, is where as soon as we get stuff in, we can't keep it. One thing that I get asked about all the time is my Thunder Jaw up here. It was from Horizon Zero Dawn. It is not an official Lego set. It is also one of the hardest Lego sets I have ever done, ever. It is a knockoff one that you can get from China. And however, it was really well done. It came in one big giant brown box with no instructions and all the pieces in one big plastic bag. So it wasn't the hand-holding Lego where you get the numbered bags and you get the manual that tells you what bag to work on. I had to make all my own bags. I had to like sort through. It took me over a month to build that.
Oh, I bet. And the fact that you even were able to put it all together with no instructions or anything?
It was crazy how hard that was. And then on top of that, it used to be in my old house, and then I had to move it. And that was terrifying because it is very fragile. But I knew that I wanted to have it in here and I'm glad that I put it in here because everybody that comes in here asks about it and wants to know where they can get one. You can actually still buy them. I saw it online recently. They're still available to buy if you look up Thunderjaw on there. But yeah, fun piece that I do not ever want to have to build again. One thing I do want to highlight is our community. We have an amazing community of people that have supported us for the 2 years that we have been open. And sometimes that results in people just bringing us random stuff. One thing I do want to highlight is up here we have the Mario family on the top shelf. These were all 3D printed by one guy, which is insane. I told him, he's like, you do this as a business? He's like, no, I just did it for fun. And I told him, I was like, if you made these and went to any of these retro game conventions and set up and sold these, you would make a killing. But anyway,
absolutely.
They are phenomenally done. And again, something I will never sell. Just really, really appreciative of all of the support and all of the great people that we have come and have made us their destination for all of their gaming needs and repairs and questions, and they just come here and hang out and talk with us or whatever it is. They're the reason why we're still here. One thing that we have added to our store that is fairly new is we now do Pokemon cards, which has been difficult because as a lot of people know, Pokemon is super hot and has been for at least a year now. We started carrying Pokemon a little less than a year ago. We started off just by offering some of the booster packs, just as kind of a side thing. And now that has grown to, we have 2 dedicated cases of nothing but singles and slabs. And when we are able to get sealed product, we also offer that, but that is very difficult to get right now, especially if you're not a dedicated TCG shop. So it's something that we heard our customers, they wanted it, and so we wanted to make sure we offered at least some of it. Is also something we do take in for trade, but we are by far, compared to a lot of the other card stores in the area, we have very little, but it is something that we do like to offer as another addition to what people can experience when they come see us. A lot of people ask us, why is your name the Retro Sync? Why did you pick that name? And to be honest, it was a mixture of a couple of things. The biggest one being is that I didn't want our business to be around one specific thing. I always wanted to have the ability to experience or to branch off into whatever direction I wanted to go. So the idea was that we potentially offer everything but the kitchen sink, but with a focus on 80s and 90s nostalgia and all things retro. So with that said, if anybody remembers the lawn darts when you were a kid, and I don't remember I don't know when this one was from.
You're gonna have to ask the survivors of lawn darts if they remember.
Yes, me and my friend would actually throw these up in the air, which is part of the reason why they got made illegal, and they are now just plastic tipped. Let's see if I can get one of these out here. They used to, however, have these giant metal tips on them that, while they're not like super sharp, definitely was
coming at you with enough force. Yeah, it's like a bullet.
And this is the #1 item that I get people to ask if they can buy from the store. and I have to tell them, not only can I not sell them, but I will never sell them. Again, going back to our community, when we first opened the store, there's a man in town that came in here with these and gave them to us and said, I want to donate these to the store for display. And so we've had them in our front window since the day we opened, which I think is pretty cool.
That's
and
crazy.
He comes in every now and then, and he even asks about them and where they are. So pretty cool piece.
Well, they have a home, that's for sure. I have never gotten to see those with my own eyes, but of course have heard about those and how dangerous they were. So that's cool.
The thing that was most important to me when we decided we were going to open the store is that some of my favorite childhood memories is hanging out in my friend's basement, in our living room, and being on the couch together and playing video games. So definitely wanted to bring that experience to the new generation, and also bring that experience back for people that grew up with that same nostalgia. So we decided we were going to set up a 80s living room in the store. It actually used to be back in the corner, and that worked well when we first opened, but moving everything up front has definitely made it more inviting, and it is the highlight for a lot of people that come in here. They will come in and hang out and play a game for a little bit. We've had so many parents that will introduce their kids to the original Nintendo, to the Super Nintendo, that have never played them before, which is a lot of fun to see. We've even ran tournaments in here, in this space actually. Guitar Hero and Super Smash Brothers. Those have actually grown beyond what we can do in the store. So we've actually partnered with some of the businesses here in town that have bigger spaces for us to do those tournaments. We just did a Super Smash Brothers tournament with a bar across the street, and that was an amazing success. So we're definitely going to be doing more of that. But this is also just a mini version of what I have aspirations to have in the future, which is as part of our business plan, we have always wanted to have a arcade or a barcade as part of this business. I grew up in the arcade. Like, I don't know how many times I got dropped off at the mall when I was a kid. My parents gave me a $5 bill and said, have fun. And for $5, I could hang out at the mall at the arcade for like 3 to 4 hours and have a good time. So I definitely want to bring that back. I want that to be part of our business in the future, is having those arcade machines available for, again, old generations that grew up with that stuff, and also the new generations that didn't get to have that same experience. It's not the same as Dave & Buster's or these other arcades that are more focused on getting tickets and selling game cards and things like that. The games aren't as interactive, and they're over super quick, and it's just hopefully in the next couple of years that is going to be another part of our business, and bringing that also to the community is something that people can come and do.
You said you would be dropped off with $5 and spend 3 or 4 hours. $5 wouldn't get you 5 minutes at Dave & Buster's now. Yeah, that's really cool aspirations you have here, and I would love to see that come to fruition. So here's to hoping for you.
CRT televisions is definitely a big thing in our business, because without them you can't really play a lot of the older games, or at least not the way they were meant to be played. Here lately it's getting really hard to find quality CRT televisions. They used to be on the corner of everybody's curb because they couldn't get rid of them anywhere else. Nowadays, you're finding them on Facebook for hundreds of dollars. For example, we have this beautiful copy of a Sony Trinitron, which is definitely at the holy grail level of what people are looking for when they're looking for CRTs now to play their retro video games. And for good reason. It has some of the sharpest colors and best picture when it comes to the older tube TVs. This one I actually picked up at a garage sale. I think I paid maybe $10 for it.
Oh my God, you got a deal.
At the time. And again, these things are heavy. I think this one probably weighs around 100 to 150 pounds. And so people just don't want to deal with them. You can't just, Goodwill will not take these anymore. By the way, they stopped taking them, I think, a few years ago. So the only way that you can get rid of them now is you have to go to like a electronics recycler in your town. And so people are okay, we're okay with, but now people are figuring out that they have value and that people are looking for them.
The Sony CRTs were usually top notch.
Yeah, the biggest version of this was 36 inches. It weighed somewhere around 400 pounds. It had to have its own stand that it had to be mounted to so that it didn't fall over and kill people. And you had to mount it to the wall.
That's a toe stubber. Or a toe remover. Well, I really appreciate you showing me everything in your store and the things that you like and the things that you felt needed to be highlighted. And I agree, everything in here, especially the things you talked about, were really interesting. And I appreciate you showing me and everybody viewing this video all your really cool things here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, and I really hope that everybody that's watching this, you know, if you want to come down and check out what we have, be happy to have you visit. And we are open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 8. But again, Taylor, thank you so much for coming and reaching out. Appreciate you doing the interview and letting me share a little bit about what we started a couple years ago.
Thanks for allowing me the opportunity. This is my passion as well as it is yours and everybody who's watching. So I think we all get something out of it at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we are out of the retro sink, and leaving, I did have to pick up a copy of Rugrats on VHS. Let's talk about it real quick. Yeah, I couldn't pass up on Rugrats Return of Reptar. They have the orange VHS, guys. Do you remember this? Look, somebody's pre-owned VHS they wrote on it. I think it's just cool to have the orange VHS. I had orange VHSs when I was a kid of other Nickelodeon shows. So yeah, Rugrats Return of Reptar, I've got it. And like I was saying in there, just the case and the art on it is so much fun to have, and a nice little piece to add to my collection. I hope you guys really enjoyed the retro sink. I did. I thought that was a really cool place. I love independent businesses and small businesses because they always have so much character to them, and I think most of you guys agree here. So I always enjoy going to these places and spotlighting them and seeing what they have to offer and all the cool stories they have with all their products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it. If you want this t-shirt, you can get this t-shirt at TayJayProductions.com. Check out those t-shirts, aren't they cool? Not to mention you also can get keychains, autographed photos, stickers, and more to come. I've said more to come and I delivered t-shirts. Now, there's more to come. But anyways, that is all, guys, and until next time, see ya.